This week, on the latest episode of Stick to Football, the Gary Neville's podcast, Roy Keane went on an unhinged 4 minute rant with Ian Wright, blaming Bruno, calling Bruno an imposter, blaming Bruno for United's bad form, and saying that Bruno is one of the players who should be, blamed for United's current position. I know how I feel about it. I disagree very strongly with Roy Keane. I don't think if we have to start with United's form and if you have to start with a finger pointing, I don't think we should start with Bruno. I think there are a lot of players who do much
Absolutely.
lesser, but where do you stand here? What did you make of his comments?
I mean, it's just uncalled for. I think there is a little bit of a tendency for these creators who are calling up United legends to sort of ask questions, get into a bit of a trajectory, and then our legends are no less. They are saying stuff, which obviously will get the clicks. They probably have a little bit of a strong opinion about something. Obviously, they can have opinion, but when you are unofficial ambassadors, if I can call them that, when you're legends of the club, there is some bit of responsibility that you still retain. And talking about club players in such fashion, I don't think holds good ground. I mean, the club is already struggling, guys. All you can do here is probably remain neutral. Do your criticism, that is fine, but then there is some limit to the kind of criticism you are saying. And I don't think, just rationally speaking, most of the people, I'm not talking about Manchester United fans either, right? Most of the people who follow football, who understand football a little bit, would agree to what Roy Keane is saying. I mean, Bruno Fernandes, one, calling him less responsible or irresponsible or whatever he's saying is just opposite of what Bruno is on the pitch, off the pitch, etc. Right? He may have certain shortcomings with regard to temperament. He might get down too quickly. He might have these bursts of frustrations on ground. I agree all of that, but calling him not responsible or irresponsible just doesn't work out. I mean, just look at the last match here. We were 3-2 leading 10 men. 90th minute, he does a tackle, he does a sprint down the opposition, tries to create a good chance, puts the ball in the box at a good place. The opposition gets the ball, he then sprints back. He was pretty much dead by the end of the game, right? And calling somebody like that irresponsible, it's just uncalled for, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's bad punditry. I think Bruno, since he has come in, see, Bruno has been the shining light. Like he has spent the best part of his career with the banter era of United, and
Yeah,
I feel bad for him because he could have won the lot with any other club had he gone to any other club. And you just have to see his numbers. I mean, if we are talking purely numbers, each of his 5 seasons in United, each of his 5 full seasons in United, he has had 10 goals or 10 assists, more than 10 goals and 10 assists.
yeah,
And he has continued this form this season as well. He has more chances created in the last year than any other player in Premier League. The
yeah,
second player was Cole Palmer. He was the highest, you know, and this is
absolutely.
just him. And this is just him on the pitch. You have to see his performance off the pitch as well. He has played under what 3 or 4 managers by now, and he has been exemplary, with everyone. When Ole out was being called out in the in the public and Old Trafford stands, he asked the Old Trafford public to stand behind Ole and told that all of the players are responsible and not just Ole.
Yeah,
He stood behind Ragnick. He stood behind everyone. Eric Ten Hag never said one bad word about Eric Ten Hag, you know, and has been played in multiple positions. He's played striker, right wing, attacking midfield. He has played defending positions. Like,
yeah,
it brings back memories of Rooney because
yeah.
he'd give his all and play anywhere the manager asked him to. And to call out such a player is, I think, it's in really bad taste.
I mean, my bigger challenge with some of this is that let's talk about the fact that whether it is Roy Keane, Paul Scholes calling out our defenders, Gary Neville, or some of the other ones in general. Maybe it has been even Rio Ferdinand a couple of times, where some of the takes that our legends have had on the players, one, they are the timing of some of these takes has been off. I mean, the club is already not doing well at that point in time. You start sort of having these scathing attacks on players. Where is the requirement of that coming from? I mean, you have done enough in your life as a footballer. You just to stay relevant, what else it could be? I'm not able to figure out appropriate motive behind doing some of this. I understand Roy Keane is somebody who has, you know, his heart up his sleeve. He will say what he wants to, what he believes. I understand, and probably that was what was responsible for us, you know, in the late 90s, early 2000s, some of the performances we had as a football club. But at this point in time, it just feels to me that it is not required. These legends are not uh, holding their unofficial ambassador role in good stead. Good thing is Amorim spoke back about it, which I
Mm.
really liked. And some Amorim, obviously, we are calling him a press conference maestro. He is somebody who is, you know, giving all the right answers in the press conference. And the fact that after the recent press conference, he said that, you know, in my opinion, Bruno Fernandes is a really important player. He does all the things right, and towards the end, he sort of capped it off by saying, "My opinion is more important than what Roy Keane feels," was brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, it does come from a fact that, all these players that we're talking about, all the ex-players we're talking about, they've had successful times with United, but like it's not the same time anymore. Times are different, and them having expectations of having that kind of captaincy which was there in 90s and 2000, it's a bit toxic, I believe.
Yeah,
Because it's different times, players are different, demands of the Premier League are different, demands of European League are different, and no more as one team, bulldozing towards titles anymore. Like, the competition has risen multifold now. And Roy Keane and Gary Neville, just to stay relevant, if they come up with, these things, these attacks, doesn't help the club in any way. You know, and what one more problem I have with this is, it doesn't come from a place of trying to improve the club. It's never an analysis on positioning of the player. It's never an analysis on what can be done better, the systems. No, it's always on the, it's always feels like a bit of a personal attacks on
yeah,
players, which doesn't help anyone, to be very honest.
correct.
So yeah, hoping, that ex-players do hear back from fans and they get the sense that United would need all the support that they can get in the tough times that we are. It is our banter era. We don't expect the banter to come from our United
Yeah,
players, our
exactly. I
ex-players
think
as
that
well.
expectation that us as fans, and obviously, if you ask us at any other point in time, what do you feel about these legends? I mean, we've had some of the best footballing memories seeing these individuals play, right? Paul Scholes has been one player who we have admired, late 2010s. We have admired him play. We still say that, you know, after Paul Scholes maybe carried to a certain extent, but we haven't really had somebody who knows sitting deep and then controlling
Yeah,
football games as he used to. The Roy Keane brought in that mentality which uh, changed United forever. Gary Neville has been a top right back for us who's played for multiple number of years. So has been the case with other legends. What we expect them to do is they're garnering views out of Manchester United, great. They're garnering eyeballs out of Manchester United. That is all okay. But in your role as somebody who is an expert of the game, talk about in terms of, you know, how is it that United can improve. Talk about providing your support to the club, providing your support to the players, to the coaching staff, etc. You know Manchester United better than probably
yeah,
anybody else. How is it that these individuals can cope up with the pressures of being a Manchester United player? Talk about that, because if you say anything, I'm sure the players are also listening to it. So that is what our expectation from these individuals is, and hopefully we see some of that happening in future.
definitely, Raj. Let's hope, this is a much more productive and winning week for United. I think two, three important games coming up. Home game at Fulham, then away game to Real Sociedad. Real Sociedad
Big
has
game.
been in flying form as well. So yeah, let's hope these two. Of course, I wouldn't call Real Sociedad a knockout game. We will have the return fixture at Old Trafford in some
But it's a
time,
big
but
game. Yeah, I think the next two games are club games. Then we have Arsenal and then the second leg of the Sociedad tie. So four big games coming up, and we have to be on the right side of most of those for our season
yep.
to remain relevant. Otherwise, it could drop off very, very quickly.
Yep. On that note, we'll finish this episode. Thank you for all your support. Please let us know and how we can improve the podcast. Please do subscribe, share our content, and yeah,
Yeah,
thank you.
this is our perch. Let's knock him off. Until next time, stay united.